Hey guys, Rusty here, and to the disappointment and dismay of some, I'm back to making videos. Gotta start off with the patch 9.1.5 Druid forms that are coming with the patch, and of course, how to get every single one of them. Now, there are currently 7 of them that you could get, possibly 8, we'll touch more on that later in the video, and they're all through inscription. Now, one of them is a little funky on the PTR right now. Again, we'll touch on that when we get there, but right now, they're all very, very basic and super easy to get. And if you don't have an inscriptionist, guess what? All the items that are required to get them can just simply be purchased on the auction house. So if you'd rather just do that, go ahead, don't even bother leveling up inscription. But if you want to actually make them for yourselves, I will show you how to get them. So let's get right into the guide. Now, if you plan on making these yourselves, for 6 of them, you're going to need to level up Shadowlands inscription to 100, as you do need 100 in order to make these items. Now, the first one we're going to start with is going to be the Midnight Runestag. Now, the recipe or technique for inscription drops from any Runestags in Ardenweald. I'll show you a pretty good spot that I farmed on the PTR to get it to drop. The drop chances for these are not really too high, but they're also not too low. They're about somewhere in between, so you should be able to get it fairly quickly. So just go ahead, farm some Runestags in Ardenweald. Once you get the recipe, you can go ahead and learn it. Make the mark of the Midnight Runestag. Send it to your druid, learn it, and then you're done. Of course, again, with everything, you can just buy these on the auction house if you don't want to do it yourself. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one is going to be the mark of the Twilight Runestag, which of course is just a different coloration from the Midnight Runestag you just got. All these are basically, by the way, they're pretty much just the moose, but just like a different version of it. I'm actually a big fan of these Runestags, by the way, as it kind of makes me want to play my druid. Now, this one comes from the Wild Hunt, and you do have to be revered with them. Now, revered isn't too difficult to get. Just keep doing your callings with the Wild Hunt until you eventually hit revered, and then you can buy them on your inscriptionist, make the mark of the Twilight Runestag, learn it on your druid, go to your barber and change it if you want. Or, of course, you can just buy it on the auction house. If you're like me, you're just the laziest person in the world. You don't want to put any work into anything, and you just want to get the item. You just want it. So, there you go. Let's move on to the next one. So that'll do it for the Runestags. Next, let's move on to the Dredbats. The first one being the mark of the Regal Dredbat, which is kind of just like a reddish version of the bat flight form. It's a pretty cool looking flight form. I like it. This one drops from Dredbats over in Dominance Keep in Northern Revendreth. So just head over to where I am on the map. It's the elite area where you usually have that elite world quest, and you're just going to farm out the elite bats there for the recipe or the technique. Now, these mobs really aren't too difficult unless you're just like a freshly geared 60 or freshly capped 60. You'll have no problem killing these. Although, either way, it'll probably be quicker if you do it with a friend or two. Or I'm sure when the servers go live, there's probably going to be groups farming these. Or you can just buy it off the auction house and be lazy. Let's move on to the next one. Now, the next one is going to be the mark of the Gloomstalker Dredbat, which is just a darker version of the flight form. Now, if I had to give one criticism for these travel forms, very small one, kind of, they really don't look too different from each other. The recolorations, at least, of example for the Dredbats, even the Runestags and the later ones, they're kind of hard to notice the differences from each other. I feel like Blizzard could have done a slightly better job there. So, slight criticism out of the way. Let's move on. The mark of the Gloomstalker Dredbat is pretty basic. It comes from the vendor Tatru. I think I said that right, which is over in Southern Revendreth. Now, this vendor is a little bit different. If you've been to him before, he doesn't accept normal currency like gold. He accepts a random crafting reagent for the technique. So you just have to go see which reagent he wants, buy it off the auction house. You could go to him and then buy the technique. Or you could actually just buy the mark of the Gloomstalker Dredbat off the auction house, although it'll probably be slightly more expensive than just buying the reagents. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see when the servers go live. So, there you go. Head over to the vendor, give him whatever the hell he's asking for, then you have the technique. Let's move on to the Ardenmoths. So the first of these we're going to look at is going to be the mark of the Sable Ardenmoth. Now, these moth flight forms, and they are flight forms, are basically just like the Ardenweald mounts, except of course instead of the player riding it, you just transform into it. I am kind of a fan of this one, which even surprised myself. Wasn't expecting that. Anyways, the mark of the Sable Ardenmoth comes from the Court of Night faction, and this right now in the PTR, it only requires Honored. That might change though. There's a little bit of an inconsistency on the PTR, so we'll just have to wait and see the actual rep requirement when the servers go live. But right now, it is just Honored. Now, the Court of Night is a Night Fae only faction. It's basically the Anima Conductor faction from doing the dailies from that. Now, on patch 9.1.5 launch day, you will be, well, once you get max renown, you will be able to freely swap your covenants. So on your inscription character, you can just simply pick Night Fae or swap to Night Fae if you're not there. Just get the rep to honored of assuming it'll stay honored, right? Which is really, really easy to get. You get the recipe, you can learn it, and then you're done. You can switch back to whichever covenant you want that character on. Or, as I've been saying, just buy it on the auction house. Let's move on to the next one, which is a bit funky. So the next one is going to be the mark of the Shimmering Ardenmoth, which, by the way, going back to that criticism I talked about earlier, it is so hard to tell the difference between the two moth flight forms here, but whatever. There you go. There is the Shimmering Ardenmoth. Now, this one comes from Droman Dawnblossom, and this is the one I was talking about earlier. That is a bit weird currently on the PTR. Now, if you head over to where I am on the map in northwestern Ardenweald, just go there and there's going to be an NPC called Droman Dawnblossom. Now, if you talk to him with Shadowlands Inscription level to 100, if you don't have that, I noticed, at least on PTR again, this could change when servers go live, the special dialogue wasn't there. Keep talking to him and you'll eventually get a dialogue saying, I hear you know a way to transform anyone into an Ardenmoth, is this true? Now, right now, on the test realms, if you click that, nothing happens. Chances are what's going to happen, though, is he'll just teach it to you. As currently, there was no data mine technique for this Ardenmoth mount, or, excuse me, Ardenmoth flight form. So chances are he just teaches it to you, and then you craft it yourself. Keep an eye out in the comments down below. I will pin a comment when this does eventually change. But right now, chances are you just talk to him, and he will teach it to you. But of course, keep an eye out for those pinned comments down below. I either confirm what I said, or if the Blizzard changes it a little bit when servers go live, I will pin a comment. So there you go. That is the Shimmering Ardenmoth. Let's move on to the Ravens. So the Raven form we're going to look at here is going to be the mark of the Duskwing Raven, which is literally just the Raven mount from Legion, which I believe was the Rogue class mount. Yeah, it was the Rogue class mount from Legion. Now you get it as a Druid flight form. Now this one is a little bit different. All the other ones required Shadowlands Inscription to rank 100. This one actually requires Legion Inscription to rank 20, so rank 20 is a complete joke to get, guys. Just level up Legion Inscription to rank 20. But you do also need to be honored with the Dreamweavers, so just keep completing that Legion Emissary with the Dreamweavers until you're eventually honored. You should have that fairly quick. Then you can head over to the Dreamweaver Emissary in Val'sharah. Go ahead, buy that technique, and then you can learn it. I am actually a fan of this, by the way, that they're not all coming from Shadowlands. I've always been a fan of Blizzard actually using the entirety of the World of Warcraft instead of just the current expansion. So, and I actually wish they would do it a little bit more. So I'm glad that they are doing this. So, get honored with the Dreamweavers, get Legion Inscription to 20, buy the recipe, learn it, make it, or, as usual, buy it off the auction house. Let's move on to the next one, maybe. So that is all 7 travel forms that are currently on the PTR and how to get them. Of course, you have that one Ardenmoth that's a little funky, although just keep an eye out for the pinned comment down below when that's eventually updated. Now, there was an 8th travel form that was data mined, which is called Mystery Raven. It doesn't have a name yet. Essentially, it's just another coloration of the Raven travel form, and this is currently not on the PTR. It was just a data mine model, so Blizzard might add it, they might not add it. Personally, I'd be a little surprised if they didn't. There's 2 colorations for every other travel form. I'd be surprised if they didn't add one for the Raven. So, as usual, I will pin a comment down below once they do actually add it and how you actually get it, so keep an eye out. Or they might just not add it, so I'll also pin that in a comment down below. If it's something crazy, like maybe it'll end up being like a secret travel form, I'll make a separate video for it if it's something super complicated. But chances are, guys, it'll be really easy like all the other ones. So, again, I will just pin a comment down below, so keep an eye out for that. So there you go, guys. That is all the new Druid travel forms that is coming in patch 9.1.5. They're pretty much all done through inscription, and of course there's that one mystery one that was data mined that we'll have to wait and see what they do with that. As usual, said it a million times, I do want to keep repeating myself because it is important. Keep an eye out for the pinned comment down below for any updates, as this is PTR and everything is subject to change. Most of them, I doubt, however, will change. Just that one Ardenmoth, and of course, if they end up adding that Raven one. Anyways, guys, I do hope you liked the video. Hope you like the new Druid travel forms, even though the colorations are kind of hard to tell the difference between each other, but whatever, very small criticism there. Give the video a like if it helped you out. Sub to the channel if you like the content. Let me know if you're happy that I'm back to making videos. Let me know if you're not happy that I'm back. I'm sure you will anyways. And until next time, guys, bye-bye. What, you think I forgot? It hasn't been that long. You think I forgot? I never forget. Halo 3 is the best Halo. Fact. Alright, guys, until next time, bye-bye.